Thank you for tuning in to the Black Money Tree Podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist Jerome D. Love. We are committed to teaching you how to build wealth so that you can build your community. At the Black Money Tree, our goal is to empower wealth creation and create economic self-sufficiency in order to empower generations to come. Society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never enjoy. Season 1 is powered by Wells Fargo Bank. Welcome to the Black Money Tree Podcast.
So let's talk a little bit more about generational wealth. So as I told you, I have 4 children, and I made it very clear, seems like kind of like what your dad did. I'm in real estate, so I have houses, I build houses, I have a couple portfolios of houses. But my kids, when I started off, they were there with me. They were out, they were putting on doorknobs, they know how to hang up light fixtures, they've insulated houses, they've done pretty much everything in terms of real estate and construction. So I made it very clear, I'm not working this hard for myself. I'm working this hard so that your life will be easier, but you're gonna have to step into it and you're gonna have to be able to run this business and to grow it and make it bigger. So my daughter comes to me, my oldest, and she's kind of strong-willed, a lot like myself. And she comes to me and she says, "So Daddy, if I go to New York and I become a model and make $1 million, are you gonna be mad at me?" And it was clear in her mind she wanted to forge her own path. And so I responded and I just said, "Well, Jasmine, if you go to New York and become a model and make $1 million, I would not be mad at you. But statistically speaking, the chances of you making $1 million in the real estate business that I already have a foundation for, I can mentor and guide you along, I have connections, as opposed to moving to New York in a city where you know no one, and there are millions of other young ladies that are relatively attractive, just like you, the chances are very low." So you seem to have stepped into your dad's legacy. So you got to help me out as a dad. What was it that your dad did that made you want to follow in his legacy? And was it natural, or did you fight it for a while and then you came back around? So you got to talk to me personally. I ain't worried about everybody else right now. You got to help me.
Oh, absolutely. So my parents' thing was, no matter what we did, if we wanted to be a teacher, they would support and they would give us whatever we needed in order to be a teacher. I guess the contract that we would be making with them would be, if you're going to be a teacher, you be the best teacher that you ever can be. And same thing, if we wanted to do anything, they would give us the support. Their whole thing is, just like sports, we weren't pushed to go after sports and be, an athlete like our dad. But when it comes to the family business, in a way, we always circled around it, and you knew that it was there. How you were going to be a part of it was always the question. And that's where, life will kind of reveal itself and provide opportunities. But when I graduated from college, it was 2008. We all know what happened in 2008 financially for the U.S. recession. There were no jobs. It's probably the worst time to graduate from college. And so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And my father, the night I graduated, not the day after, the night I graduated, we're sitting at dinner. 2 options. You can either stay in Louisville and do this, or you can move to Chicago and start working for the family business there, because you were going to have to work. And that was their thing. No matter what, you were working, you were earning a paycheck. No free rides at any moment. So I ended up kind of, in a way, stumbling into the family business. Now, you can be part of the family business and having 2 older brothers. We've talked about this. But the key is you have to find your own voice. You have to find your purpose within the business. So even for your daughter, understanding, well, what is it that she's trying to accomplish through modeling? And is there an opportunity for the business to be able to, fund these extracurricular opportunities, that you may not have been able to do because you didn't have the financial resources and the time, that maybe you can take off from the business to look and diversify. But also it's understanding each strength and what you bring to the table that you can help feed into the business. I am part of an international organization that centers around families and family businesses or family offices. And it's one of the leading things I always hear from my counterparts is that the family businesses is not stepping back, or the family isn't stepping back and saying, and looking at each individual member and what are the strengths and weaknesses and how do they align with the business versus the business being the only and not adapting to the individuals. Because you can have her working, but if she's in finance, does that really work for her? She should have a fundamental understanding, but the business has to complement the individual in order for them to find their purpose and really service the business well.
Yeah. No, that's so rich, so rich. Now, you are a new mom, I believe. Daughter, correct?
Correct. Yep. 3 months
Okay.
old, baby Eve. Yep.
So talk about how, if anyway, has your mindset changed since you've had a daughter? Has it increased your work ethic? Do you feel like, okay, now I really got to get on my grind? Tell me how that changes your perspective by having a daughter.
No, it changes everything. Obviously, understanding time. I have the same 24 hours in the day, but they're not the same anymore. It's split up in a very different way. But obviously, my parents instilled the idea of legacy in me. And so now it's a bit more real. I'm seeing what I do on a day-to-day basis will have lasting impact on my daughter's future. So work ethic and my grind or my hustle is probably at its all-time high compared, because I want her to have opportunities that even I didn't have, and which, people find to be hard to believe, but there are things that I can't wait for her to experience that she will have that I didn't, especially now with Ebony and Jet being part of our portfolio underneath our family business, that she's going to grow up in a different world than even what I did. So absolutely, having a child changes you in ways you don't even realize, but also I think it brings into perspective why I do what I do. And that, again, it's not about me. It's trying to service other, and hopefully the things I do will propel her for the opportunities she will be able to do for our family and for the family that she creates one day.
No, that's great. That's great. Eden, when I first started investing in real estate the way that I do now, and that's kind of really helped me to acquire my net worth. I remember after I got my first house, then I got my second one and third one. And, I was more comfortable than I had ever been in my life in terms of I wasn't stressing over paying my bills or anything like that. But I remember I thought, when am I going to be rich? And I had to really rethink how I define rich and wealthy, because I guess in my mind, I felt like being rich meant I was supposed to have $1 million in my back pocket at any moment, flying on private jets. But I've come to realize that wealth and success is more than what your bank account says. It's really more about being in a position where you can control your own destiny, where you can take care of your family. And if my kids are sick, hey, I don't have to check with anyone. I don't have to worry about losing any money. I go pick them up and they coming home, those types of things. How would you define wealth, and how do you define success?
Honestly, absolutely, of what you just said. The idea that your money, the idea that you're not having to live paycheck to paycheck, the idea that you're able to think of the long game. So many people, you see their decision making is just set up based upon what's really in front of them. And the idea of being able to make a decision that won't impact you at this very moment, but sets you in a position to work the long game, to me, that is wealth. being able to position your family so that they will have opportunities to go and to experience. Was able to study abroad, and in certain schools you're able to go to certain extracurricular activities. All of that is based upon being able to financially set yourself, so that your money works for you and you don't work for your money. Now, success is different. A lot of times we like to say, well, once I have X number of dollars in my bank account, I'm successful. To me, how I define success is making sure when I wake up, I'm able to look myself in the mirror. I'm able to feel that I'm giving it my all, because opportunities will come and go. The results of those opportunities a lot of times are out of even our hands. We like to say, if God planned for you to have it, then he will make sure you have it. And if it's not for you, he will make sure you don't have it. So for me, it's the idea that I'm successful based upon being able to feel that I live in my purpose that was given to me by the man upstairs, by God, and that each and every day, as long as I'm following along on what he deems I'm supposed to do, then I'm going to be successful in staying true to that, staying focused in on that. Then I will see success out of my wildest dreams. And my testimony is that, because at no point did I think that I was going to be in an ownership of Ebony and Jet. I thought the most I would ever be able to accomplish associated with those brands is either be a Jet Beauty of the Week, to have my wedding profiled, to being, maybe I would have my story told within the pages of Ebony. But again, the idea of living in purpose and not defining success by society, but making sure that your path is given from above, you will see blessings and success of your wildest dreams.
I love it. I put a little scripture on it. What profit the man to gain the world and lose his soul? It's all about,
Amen. Amen.
what's the point of having these resources and this money if you're in this life, and this life is going to end, and then you're going to have to be accountable to someone that gave you this life. So I love it. I love it. I've told the story before, and I'll tell it one more time. When my dad, he died in 2015 of cancer. And he went through about an 18-month battle, and he was a very strong-willed man. And he had a sedated MRI at 10 o'clock in the morning. And he decides he was going to go to that sedated MRI by himself. He went in, the doctor says, "Sir, we can't do a sedated MRI if you're here by yourself." He calls me. I'm at my office working, probably about 9:15. And he says, "Son, I need you." And I asked him what happened. He said, "Well, they can't do this procedure unless someone's here." 15, 20 minutes later, I was at his office, because my office is right near the Houston Medical Center. He got his procedure. I sat in the lobby, worked on my laptop, planning 2015 Texas Black Expo, took him home back to his hotel. He's from San Antonio, but he was here in Houston. I sat at his bedside in the lobby of his hotel, and when he got up, we went to dinner. And we began to talk about what success looked like, and wealth, and this, that, and the other. And I said, "Dad, this to me is success. You called me at a moment's notice, and you needed me, and I was able to be there for you. And guess what? I didn't have to check with anybody. No, my paycheck isn't being docked. I got all of my work accomplished. And for me, that's what success, and that's what being wealthy is all about. And really, that's what's missing in the Black community. We got to be able to take charge and control our own destiny. So, well, it's been a joy, Eden. I will ask, the Black Money Tree is about wealth and wealth creation, wealth building. A lot of people may see Junior Bridgman, owner of Ebony, that's far off. I can't get there one day. But if you're just starting out, just graduated from college, maybe you've been graduated for a while, but you got a professional job but seem to be in that rat race, what are the 1 or 2 keys that you would suggest, or advice that you would give that individual that's trying to create wealth so that they can be in charge of their own destiny?
First, you have to understand how money is made, and not the idea of the paycheck, but truly, how did the JP Morgan Chases of the world, how did these individuals who have amassed large amounts of money, how is money made, moved around, and handled? So I would say first you have to understand that the money market and all that goes into equity and ownership and things like that. Second, I would say is make sure not only do you need to understand the business, but you need to have a fundamental team behind you of smarter individuals than yourself. Because so many times people only saw the one individual, but no one climbed the mountaintop by themselves. And for my dad, it was a man named Paul Thompson, who's been one of his right-hand people. And with Paul being able, especially when my father first started out in the restaurant industry, Paul knew the business front end and back. He'd worked in that industry for a number of years. And my father's vision and what Paul bought into, their work ethic together is where that level of success was able to be accomplished. So yes, my father worked hard, but he's always surrounded himself with great people that could buy into his vision and then help him get to that next level. So again, no one climbs the mountaintop by themselves. There was always somebody along with them, and people need to find that person who's trustworthy and sees them as not a stepping stone to their own, but together they can accomplish. And I think if you are able to start up with those two things, then you'll see success.
You know, I love it. I love it. The Black Money Tree. My team always tells me I'm too egghead, and I think I'm in a science class because I broke down this tree. And one of the parts of the tree are the limbs. They reach out, right? They provide the shade. They provide the comfort. And just like Paul provided that for your dad, I have a mentor here. When I bought my first house, I'm very strong-willed. I think I know everything. And my mentor realized I was in over my head. He's my cousin. He literally showed up every single day, helped me work with the contractors, kept them accountable, and showed me the ins and outs of building houses, the electrical, the plumbing, what to look out for. Now, I didn't even know that I needed the help at the time, but looking back, it would have been a tumultuous journey if I didn't have someone reaching out to me like the limbs of a tree, providing that shade, providing that comfort. And unfortunately, if you can't, it's like when you go on an airplane, they say if you got to put your mask on first. If you can't take care of yourself, then you can't help others. And my mentor is a very wealthy man, owns several houses. He's been there with me from day one. But once he got in a position where he was taken care of, now he was able to pass it along to me. And that's really what my goal and my desire is to do. And that's why we launched the Black Money Tree Wealth Development strategy. So now I did want to ask one more question. They sent me a whole bunch of information here. I see you guys launching the Ebony Power 100, HBCU Campus Queen. I mean, y'all got a lot of things. I think they forgot. I didn't see anything about the Jet Beauty of the Week. So I'm wondering what's going on with the Jet Beauty of the Week.
Don't worry. If there is one thing that our community or the world at large has asked me is when is the Jet Beauties of the Week come back? I have actually met some of the former Jet Beauties of the Week, and it is a fascinating tell to hear how and I've met women that were rejected. And that also is a real fascinating tell on why they weren't chosen. But no, we will absolutely be bringing back Jet Beauties of the Week. And even like how you mentioned the HBCU Queen, which was a program that the Ebony brand has been a part of. But what we wanted to do was not only highlighting our beauty on the outside, but we partnered with Olay to make sure it's HBCU Queens in STEM. We want to see the women who are going to be powerhouses in the STEM industry, and how do we recognize them and do something fun with them? So that's where you'll see Jet Beauty of the Week, but we don't want just the outside shown. We want to see what these beautiful women have on the inside as well.
No, I understand. When I was growing up, I would enjoy reading about their talents and their education.
You do the Jet Beauty of the Week. It's okay. Everybody did. Then you might have gone back to the front. It's okay. Everybody did it.
Page 53.
Yep.
But no, this has been a wonderful conversation. Eden, thank you so much for allowing us this time to just learn from you, pick your brain. And I'm really excited about the things that you're doing in the community, the direction of Ebony and Jet. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the people about Ebony, Jet, yourself, or anything else you'd like to get out there?
No, I would tell people go to ebony.com, sign up for our newsletter, go to social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, follow the brands, and honestly, just besides the excitement, we need people to engage with us. We want to hear the stories. We want to champion what our community is doing, the beautiful, bold, Black, brilliant things that people are doing. How do we bring those into the forefront where your voice is heard and it's done by people that look like you? So truly, this was an honor to speak with you. I love what you guys are doing and honored that you wanted to speak with me today.
Well, thank you so much. And there you have it, Miss Eden Bridgman Skellner. All right. Man, I am so excited. This is only the first season of the Black Money Tree, and Miss Eden Bridgman Skellner, I mean, the nuggets that she dropped was so powerful, folks. We got to start as a community. We got to start pooling and amassing wealth. And it has to be a directed effort. A lot of times when I speak at different conferences, I talk about the word motivation. And I break it down. The root of the word motivation is motive. And motive is defined as a compelling reason to act. So when you can't define why you're doing what you're doing, eventually you're going to stop. And the reality is, as a Black community, most of the times we're making decisions based upon our needs right here, right now, today. But we have to shift and change. We have to have a motive that's bigger than ourselves and right here, right now. We got to start looking out for our future, for the future of our community, if we're going to have power and if we're going to be able to make a change. And ultimately, we're going to be able to transform our own destinies. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Tune in every week, every other week. We're going to be here giving you more jewels. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you like us at the Black Money Tree. This was a great episode, and I'm really excited for things to come in the future. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Black Money Tree podcast. Don't forget to like and share this video. And if you want more content like this, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see you next time.